I used to search out women who had boyfriends and husbands, and those would be my first pick to smash. I was on some savage stuff. You see what I'm saying?
So demon time. Joseph comes through on PayPal. He writes, is it player to let your wife sleep with other men? Pause. Major pause. I'm going to reread that. I hope it's a typo. Joseph writes, is it player to let your wife sleep with other men and then come back home like Mr. Locario allows his wife to do? Shots fired. Shots officially fired. Mr. Locario, I'm assuming they talking about you, not the other Locario. Talk to the people, bro. We got to cut this up as a whole separate clip now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. See, the thing is this. What they don't understand is that it's not player if you're in a monogamous relationship, which I'm not in a monogamous relationship. Again, this is what you guys have to understand about game. It's about context. You understand what I'm saying? Because a pimp, right, his women are messing with other dudes. So you gonna say a pimp ain't player? You're gonna say a pimp ain't really about a pimp is the highest level of the game, right? So
absolutely
is that he's in a situation where he's having his women sleep with other men for money, right? Now, in a non-monogamous relationship, what guys have to understand is that I'm not sitting at home twiddling my thumbs, playing video games while my girl is out there doing what she
You're at home texting her, babe, where you at?
Right, exactly. Right. I'm out here doing my thing. You understand what I'm saying? And this is what guys don't understand is that I don't let my wife do it, right? My wife does it because that's the arrangement that I created in the situation, and she's doing what she do because you can't control no woman. That's number one. That's number one. Now, two, what guys don't understand is that, again, like I said, is context. So when you're in a specific context, things are different. So now if I meet your wife or another dude's wife and y'all are in a monogamous relationship and she's sleeping with other men, that means she's cheating, right?
Correct. She's lying.
Right, exactly. If I'm in a situation where I created the relationship to be how it's supposed to be, you understand what I'm saying? And she's doing what she's doing in the relationship based under my guidance, that means she's following my lead. I'm the one telling her to do this. I said, yo, listen, let me tell you guys something. I've had women who I was just hooking up with, not even girlfriend, nothing, just hooking up with girls who just liked me. And they said, Locario, I just want to be with you. I said, if you don't get out of here with that BS, I would encourage them. I said, yo, go mess with the other dude because you ain't being with me, just with me. And I told them this. And the reason why I told them this is because I've had women who just wanted to be with me. And what they would do is that they would try to soak up all my time, attention, and energy. And the reason why they was doing that, was because they were only messing with me. See, a lot of guys, they have an ego where they're like, oh, I only want her to do this and do that with me. But you got to understand that when you're able, because a lot of guys say, if I was in an open relationship or I was non-monogamous, I'd be messing with all these other girls, but all my women wouldn't be messing with no dudes.
Right.
That's foolish because you can't control that. And that's unrealistic. That's what guys don't understand. And on top of that, what's happening, that's an energy suck. Imagine you with your one girlfriend, right? And that girl is emotional. Then you got to deal with managing her emotions. Now try that with 2 women. Try that with 3 women. Try that with 4 women, all coming at you emotional. You think you want to deal with that? I don't think so. Now what happens is that because you're also dealing with other women and you with this other woman that you're with, right? You need to spread the energy around. It's just like when you have kids. Let's say you got 3 or 4 kids.
Let me pause before you get into these analogies. Somebody in the comments said you a master of analogies and they ain't never lied. I don't know if you had these ready. I don't know if you've been in the game for so long, but your analogies be hitting, they be on point. And I love it as a tool for clarification, but you don't even have to think. I be having to think, damn, what could I compare this to? You are the analogy king. So you're the game king and the analogy king. Number one, before I go on, do you give me permission to chop this up into a little clip and put a crazy ass title on it?
Yeah, yes. I want you to do that. Hell yeah.
Now, I like this question for a couple reasons. Number one, because it caught me off guard. That's for damn sure.
Right.
Number two, because it also gives us to do some metacognition, which is to think about the question, which is the idea of someone going into your personal business. It's one thing if I come to you to get the game, how can I get the game and apply to my life? But if I don't want a life like yours, you might be able to give me game, but I don't necessarily need to know about what exactly you're doing in your personal relationship if that's not what I want. What I'm doing in my household don't have nothing to do with you. And I'm a fairly private man myself. I got 1,000 questions now, and I'll get them real quick. Number one, when I started reading this question, I didn't know what the hell this brother was talking about. I was like,
I already knew what he was talking about. I was
so
like,
you knew he was coming for your neck.
I was like, let's get into it. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about coming for your neck. Okay. Yeah. So that's number one. And then number two, I'm not asking for my personal interest because I have no interest in what you're doing in your home. Because as I said, be yourself. Hey, whatever makes you happy, fantastic. If that's not my flavor, I'm gonna do my own thing. So I don't need to study that because I'm not about to do that. Right. But in your situation, it's open on both ends. Is the understanding like your wife do what she do, you do what you do. Cool. We have an agreement. We come back to the center.
That's how that works. And what I always tell guys is this. I was gonna say like this. So a lot of guys have this thing where they want to be messing with other women, but they don't want the women messing with other men. Now that could happen if that's your agreement. But what happens is that most men are not equipped to do that, and most women aren't even equipped to do that. Because what happens is a lot of guys don't understand that women also have sexual urges the same way we have sexual urges, and sometimes even more. So now what happens is that if you're just with this women, these 3-4 women by yourself, and they're just with you, but you're messing with other women, what's going to happen is, like I said, all of the energy is going to be coming your way, which is going to be so much stress on you, which creates a situation where you can't even manage the relationship, which is going to dissipate the relationship anyway. That's 2. Now, third thing I wanted to say is this, is that what a lot of people don't understand is, right? And see, Ninja Assy21 in the chat, he said this guy's a cuck, and this is why I like to explain this stuff. What a cuck is,
they dirty today, bro.
We gotta teach the ignorant, right? What a cuck is, right? The original cuck definition is when a guy is with a woman who's been unfaithful, right? And she gets pregnant by somebody else, and then he's taking care of that kid, or he doesn't know that she's running around messing with other dudes. That's the original version of cuck. Now, the new updated version of cuck is when a woman is messing with another dude, right? And the guy she's with, her main guy, is submissive to her. That's a cuck. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a difference between a man who's non-monogamous and a cuck. So a dude who's non-monogamous means that he is not monogamous, means that he messes with other women. His woman probably messes with other dudes. A cuck is a guy who's with a woman who is humiliating him, and he's submissive to her, and he gets off on being humiliated and being submissive to his woman. You see what I'm saying? So this is why guys got to understand the definitions. Now, what I always ask guys this question.
Let me question in because I gotta mess with you, bro.
Right. Go ahead.
One, and I'm generally very private just because that's my actual nature, and then just due to some of my former activities, I'm even more private and paranoid. And at a level, I feel uncomfortable with a lot of the YouTube stuff. Just the idea with that I'll be out walking somewhere and someone knows me, but I don't know them. That makes me uncomfortable because you know what I'm saying. But so with regards to this, like in terms of my own personal relationship, I don't think anyone on the internet has any sense of what I'm actually doing unless I bring a young lady on and we have some conversation. Just yesterday, I kid you not, a young lady came and confronted me and basically cussed me out. Like, you were talking about me on YouTube yesterday. I was like, girl, don't nobody know that's you if you don't sit your ass down somewhere. Like, the only person that knows that was you is you and I, but I wasn't talking about it like only you. Like, I'm trying to give some education here, but I apologize if you felt offended because I don't want to disrespect anybody unnecessarily. I believe in be good to good people. So anyways, I say that to say this. I've never gone into my own personal relationships, and I don't have a relationship like yours. I'm not suggesting that I do, but in your case, did they research this? Were you on like, hey, let me tell you how Mr. Locario get down?
I told him, man, I'm going to tell you the main reason why I told people that I was in an open relationship. The main reason why I told people I was non-monogamous, I'm in an open relationship and stuff like that, and I put it in the public, is because what I teach people is to be comfortable with themselves, right? So what my slogan is, the truth is inside you. My whole energy is about being authentic and being who you are and not being afraid to let people know what you're about. Now, there's certain things that I don't say also. I don't say everything, but this is just one thing that I've said and I've put out there just to show people, because I like to show and prove, meaning I'm not going to tell people, hey, be yourself and don't be scared to be yourself, but I'm not letting people know who I am. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm like, this is what I am. But also I put it out there for people to understand this. I also put it out there because what's interesting is I like the fact that some people get all riled up about this, because I laugh to myself inside because people don't realize that they're also hypocrites. Because what I mean is this: people are like, how are you okay with your woman messing with another guy? And I always ask this question to them. I'm like, how are you okay with the woman you're hooking up with other guys? Right? Meaning that they're always talking about sex. They're like, this woman's having sex with another guy and then she's going to have sex with you. I'm like, but yeah, the girl that you went out with yesterday had sex with another guy the other day and she's having sex with you. And so
I'm guessing that their response is, that's your wife.
And that's right. And that's what they'll say.
And is this your wife we're talking about? Because, and mind you, I don't have any background on this. So I'm asking because I don't know.
And so they'll say, oh, but that's your wife. It's different. It's so different. Now, the only difference is in that context is that I may actually do more with my wife than a girl I'm hooking up with. But they're not talking about all that. They're just talking about sex, right? So if we're talking about in the context of sex, her being my wife and the girl being the girl you're hooking up with is still on the same level because we're just talking about sex, right? So it's the equivalent of me saying, somebody saying, oh, you know, let's say I've used this example before. If you like to eat eggs, right?
Analogy King, talk to us.
You eat eggs in the morning, right?
I do, actually.
And then you call it breakfast, right? Now,
Word.
a person can eat eggs at night and call it dinner. Now, does it matter if I call it breakfast or dinner? Because you're still eating eggs.
Hey, your analogy game is strong.
You see what I'm saying?
You didn't miss your calling. You supposed to be Johnny Cochran, bruh. You ain't even know it. You supposed to be Cochran out here. Y'all catch a case, bang Mr. Locario. Eggs in the morning and eggs in the evening.
It's still eggs. So it doesn't matter if I call her my wife or you call her the girl you're hooking up with. We're still dealing with women who's having sex with other men in both situations. So this is why I talk about with the hypocrisy, where people don't see, they think just because you call it this, right? They're like, oh, that makes it a different activity as far as sex. Remember, I'm just talking about sex. Now, if we're talking about actually spending time with a woman, doing other things, that's a whole different story. But their complaint or their uncomfortability is about the sexual act. So what I always tell guys is this, is that the same way where you're having sex with this woman, that same woman that you're having sex with, that you hooked up with, she hooked up with another guy the day before or a week before. The same way where my woman is hooking up with somebody else. Don't you want to like control your girl, or how you letting your girl do this, or how you letting your girl do that? My question always to guys is this, is how do you actually control a woman? Right. Even if you're in a monogamous relationship, because guys think that if they're in a monogamous relationship, they're safe. What they think is, I have a girlfriend who's with me, and this is my girlfriend, right? Just because she's your girlfriend, that doesn't mean that I can't go and have sex with your girlfriend. I can go have sex with your girlfriend whenever I want if my game is tight, right? I can go. That's what I actually used to do. I used to search out.
That used to be my hobby.
Exactly. I told dudes this. I used to search out women who had boyfriends and husbands, and those would be my first pick to smash. I was on some savage stuff. You see what I'm saying?
So demon time.
Right. And so what I'm saying is there's other dudes out there just like me who's ready to smash your girl. So just like the other day, the chick that was with Drake, the dude bought her to Drake, Drake smashed, right? And that's the woman he's been with for 8 years. So any woman could get it. So my question is, guys, is how do you control that situation to where that won't happen? And the answer is you can't. You see what I'm saying? So this is what I tell guys is, these dudes got to understand that they think that they're safe, but they're not. You see what I mean? That's what it is.
I appreciate you going into that, by the way. That's real. Kate writes, what's Mr. Locario's Dr. Phil method to keep him? And I don't know if Kay would have asked a different question, had she not just heard what you said, but what's the short answer to that one?
So you're saying what's the method to like keep a chick interested?
When she said keep them, I'm assuming she's talking about retention, actually. So, like, you know, how do you keep the woman dealing with you?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. The thing is that, you know, when it comes to understanding game, the way to keep a woman first is that she has to see you as valuable. That's one. And then two, she has to work for her position, meaning that the mistake a lot of guys do is that they give a woman so much up front. It's like, oh, I'm gonna text you good morning every day. I'm gonna give you flowers. I'm gonna do all this other stuff. And what I tell women, what I tell guys to do is flip that and do it backwards. Do the least for a woman at the beginning, and then once she's proven herself over time, then what's going to happen is that you give her more. And now this is the way that you keep them: is that the more a woman invests in you, the harder it is to get rid of her. This is what you guys don't understand. The more a woman invests in you, the harder it is to get rid of her and the more she wants to stay with you. So this could be something as simple as when you're dealing with a girl, you need to get, this is what I said earlier. I was saying, listen, you got to get girls to do more things for you than she's done for other guys. You have to get her to do more things that's outside her comfort zone, because the more things she does, that's the more investment she has on you. So for example, if you run in a business, and let's say you run in a business selling cupcakes and pastries, you need to let that girl get in the kitchen, you know, help you with the bacon and stir in the freaking pot and all that other stuff. You got to get her to put in work, because the more work she puts in, the more attached she gets to you, and then the more she wants to grab on and keep the journey going. You see what I'm saying? That's Absolutely. What it is. You see what I'm saying?
That's a great answer. And I agree. And we can all remember that and apply that more strongly. Make her earn her position. Came from Mr. Lucario.